Okay, so welcome back. So in the last lecture, we started with dynamics and the kinematics part of dynamics. Of course, there are some very basic things that we saw in the last class. And one thing I mean, you must already be knowing, and we just reviewed it, that, derivative of displacement is velocity, derivative of velocity is acceleration. And then if you integrate it back, you can get back the curves. We also saw that for different cases, we may have to change the form of expressions of acceleration, and we need to do appropriate integrations. Then we also saw an example where the calculations were a little complicated, and there comes the need for how to automate, or how do we do it using computational techniques. Similarly, we also saw that if you are performing in experiments, let's say you are doing a crash analysis of a vehicle or some things, you measure accelerations. So accelerations are very common quantity to measure. And once you are measuring an acceleration, you have acceleration as a function of time data, something like this. Now, from this data, how do we get velocity versus time, or displacement versus time? How do we do this thing? So that is what we are going to do in this class. Again, it rests upon this concept, which we discussed in last class, that area within acceleration curve between t1 to t2 will give you the change in velocity between point v1 and v2. Right. So v2 minus v1 is equal to integral of a dt from t1 to t2. And similarly, this is your displacement. Now I'll go to one note.
सर आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही.
आवाज नहीं आ रही? Wait a minute. Am I audible to other members?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the person who had problem, please check your speaker. Okay. So today let us discuss this topic of basics of computation in dynamics. And of course, we will be using Python, because most of you are familiar with Python. By the way, I am also new to Python, so and some of you are experts in Python, so I look forward to learning from you as well. So maybe in the end of the lecture, if you find some things by which we can optimize the code, you can share it with me. Okay, coming to the dynamics part, the problem is as follows. So we are given x double dot as a function of, it can be t, it can be displacement, it can be velocity. So we are given either a function or we are given some data. So when I say data, means it is time as a function of acceleration, and this numerical data is given to you. If you are doing experiments, this is how your data you'll be having, and this is what the plot that I have shown you, right? So basically you will be given a plot something like this, and from this acceleration as a function of time data, our objective, or the question is to find displacement as a function of, so we want to find displacement as a function of time, and we also want to find the velocity as a function of time, right? So So we want to do everything numerically and computationally, and therefore what you will be getting is tabulated data, right? So we want to get this data or this data. We want to obtain this data. Okay. Now that's the problem. Now one more thing, additional information which is required is what is called as initial conditions. So again, from your mathematics, you can see, so what mathematically what we are trying to do is we are trying to solve an ordinary differential equation. So this is a second order differential equation. Of course, it depends upon what kind of function this is. In that case, if it is a complicated function, it can be other kinds of differential equation. But yeah, we will try to solve this differential equation. That is one thing we are trying to do. The second thing or second way of expressing the same concept is we want to do an integration of f, right? So this graph is actually your f, right? Acceleration as a function of time, and provided if it is only a function of time, right? If it is a more complicated function, it is, but we want to integrate this function, right? So there are two ways of mathematically what we are trying to do is we are trying to solve an ODE, and we are also trying to do what is called as a numerical integration. And so for solving an ordinary differential equation, if it is a second order differential equation, you need two initial conditions, right? From your basic mathematics, you know that. So you need two initial conditions. And so what we will say that we need x at 0, the starting position, and we need the velocity at t is equal to 0. So we need two initial conditions to start the problem, right? And let us say this is also given to us. So this equation is given to us, or this data is given to us, and initial conditions are given to us. We want to find these, this data. Okay. So what is so again, we are learning just very, very elementary or basic approach. And the idea is as follows. So let us say, yeah, so this data, acceleration as a function of time, is given to us, and we want to find displacement as a function of time. That is what we want to do. At t is equal to 0, initial condition is given to us. So let us say this is given to us, and this is x naught, or x at t is equal to 0. This is given to us, and the velocity is given to us. Velocity means the slope at this point, right? So it's a displacement time graph. The slope is your velocity. So we also know the direction of vector here, right? So this slope is your x dot 0, and this slope is also given to you, right? Now what we are going to do, very simple method, is let us say if I consider a time step of delta t, and at delta t, if I want to approximate the value of x at delta t, right? So if I want to approximate this value, what I'll say is that in this small region, let's say I assume this to be a straight line, right? So that is an assumption that I'm making, and that is why this is a very elementary approach. So if I assume this to be a straight line, if this horizontal is your delta t, this tan theta is x dot 0, then I can say that this perpendicular by base is your tan theta, and therefore your this height is your slope, which is your tan theta multiplied by delta t, right? So this height, this curly bracket, is this much, x dot 0 times delta t, and we also know that this is already equal to your x naught. So as a first approximation, I can say that x of t plus, not t, 0 plus delta t is equal to x of 0 plus delta t times x dot 0. I hope this makes sense. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find this point because I want to get this whole curve x as a function of t. I want to get it. So for a first approximation, I obtain this x at delta t is equal to x naught plus this is x dot 0 times delta t, right? So this is the first equation that I have. And now you can see that this term, everything is known, and I can therefore calculate and do a computation of this term. Okay, good. Now, similarly, if I do the same thing for velocity and acceleration, can I write a similar equation that x dot of 0 plus delta t is equal to x dot of 0 plus delta t times x double dot 0. Same idea. So now if I plot the velocity function as a velocity and time data graph, the initial velocity is known, which is x dot 0. And the initial acceleration is also known because acceleration as a function of time is completely given to us. So acceleration I know thoroughly, totally. So throughout the time domain, acceleration is known. So here this acceleration is your slope, which is known. And again, using the same concept, I can again calculate the velocity at delta t point, at the next interval point, something like this. I can calculate this using this equation. Now, once these two data is calculated, now you can see that this point, let me use a different color. This point is now completely known. Now at this point, I know, or at least the approximate value is known. So at this point now the displacement value is known. And now from the second equation, I also know the slope, the velocity at this point using this equation, right? So now these two becomes like an initial condition for this point. And now I can move to the next point, which is again delta t apart, and I can keep on repeating this process to to find the next point here. And I can put it in a loop, and I can keep on doing the simulation, and I can keep on getting I can keep on obtaining the data of x as a function of time. And now later on, if I join it, you will get a very nice curve. And that's what we have, at least theoretically, we have solved this thing. So these equations, these two sets of equations, when they are iterated, or when we write a generalized equation, I can write x of t plus delta t is equal to x of t plus delta t times x dot of t. And the second equation is x dot of t plus delta t is equal to x dot t plus delta t times the acceleration at t. Right? So this is the generalized general equation. So first equation is just for starting and just for explaining to all of you. But now this equation can be, or these two sets of equation can be generalized, and we can get these two equations. In computation, we write it in a little different notation. So what I can say that if I want to put it in a loop, I can write the same equations in a little different format. So I can say x of I plus 1 is equal to x of I plus delta t of x dot of I, right? So if where I represents ith step and I plus 1 is the next step or your next iteration. Similarly, x dot of I plus 1 is equal to x I dot plus delta t times xi double dot, right? And now once initial conditions are known, what I can do is I can do a forward march, right? So, zeroth instant is known. I can go to first step, then I can go to the second step, third step, fourth step, and I can keep on marching as long as I want to get the solution. So that's the basic principle of a very simple elementary approach in doing, in dynamics. And now let us see by the help of an example, and let me share this. Okay, so can you see this this notebook? No.
Yes, sir.
Can you see this notebook here, dynamics computation?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
One person said yes, one person said no. Can you see this
It is
dynamic
visible,
computation?
sir.
It's a
It is
Python.
visible, sir.
Sir.
Okay. So this is, of course, the text that I have written, where you have to, this is what we are trying to do, right? So we want to integrate this function. We need initial conditions, right? And these are the two equations which we are going to, put it in a loop and run that equation. Okay. So now to do this, so again, I'm going a little slowly here because some students had a problem with programming, and let's quickly do it. So some of you may find it a little elementary, but that's okay. Give me a minute. Okay, so let us say we have, first of all, we define the variables, let's say x naught. Let us say it is given to us as 2, and v naught, let us say it is given to us as 0 to start with. And let us say that we have, we want to solve the time data. And we have, so first of all, we need to define what is your, let's say I want to solve up to 5 seconds. And now here we have to define what is your delta t, right? So if you see our calculations, we had delta t, right? These equations are written here. So here I'll call it as dt. And let us say dt is 1, just to start with, right? So later on we'll make it small. So put a comment here. So this is your final time, and this is your time step. Now, the total number of points for your computation will be defined by, let's define by a variable number of steps. And this will be your t f by dt. And we will have one extra point here, plus 1. Why? Because if you see a simple calculation, let's say if I'm going from, the time starts from 0, right? So let me put a comment here. Time starts at 0 for our present code, right? So we can change that thing. So if I am starting from 0 and I'm going to 5 in a step size of 1, so there are 6 number of points, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So including 0, there will be 1 extra point. So therefore, I have to add here 1 plus 1 here. So there will be total number of 6 number of points in my domain for this calculation. And now for doing most of the computations, we have to define vectors, right? So we have to define, for example, here, if you can see, I have to define my time vector. So 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So for defining that, we will have a very simple linspace command. So we will say that t is equal to linspace, but yeah, that is in NumPy library. So I'll just put an np dot linspace, and I want it to start with 0. I want to go it up to TF, and now we want number of points. Now this is in NumPy library. So before any computation programs, you can just import these libraries NumPy as np and import matplotlib .pyplot as plt. So these are some very standard things you must be aware of. For doing any basic computations in Python, these are the libraries for numerical computation, and for plotting we have to use this matplotlib library. So I was talking about defining a vector. So we define it using a command called as linspace, and you can also use what is called, there is another command, arange, np.arange. Yeah, so that is also a good alternative. So now here we have defined a vector t, and let's run it just so that we see what we are doing. It is executing. Meanwhile it is executing, let's write it further. So okay, there is an error. Very good. Okay, this should be an float. Oh, okay. Float object cannot be represented as an integer. Yeah, so when we are doing this divide operation, so the type of num is a float. So we have to convert it to int. And then because the argument here is an integer. So okay. So now you can see that by in this command, what we have done is we have created a vector of array, and 0, 1, 2, 3, right? So we can do like this. Now I can change this time step. So let us say I want to make it small intervals. So then if I run it, it is, it goes from 0 to 0 0.1, 0 0.2 up to 5, right? So, but to begin with, once we are writing the code, let's make it simple, and later on we will make it little. Okay. Now let us say we want to define a function of acceleration. So let us take a very simple case of what is called as a X. Where is my pen? So if I want to define acceleration, and let's take an example of what is called as a simple harmonic motion, where x double dot is equal to minus of omega square times x. Right, so this you must have studied before. So this is basically a acceleration of an object when you connect with the spring. So this is your minus omega square x is your acceleration. And now to define this acceleration, we have to, in Python, we have to use we have to define a function. So we'll say define function name and its input arguments. And then here we will return the value of it, right? So this is the syntax for defining a function in Python. So now here, if I define def, so again a syntax, and let me write the name of function as acceleration, and let's say its input is local variable distance, right? And I have to put up this colon, and when I press enter, so now this is part of the function. And now here, let me define omega, and let's say this is equal to 5. I'm just taking some numbers, and return and I want to return the output as minus of omega square. So it is double star 2. So that is raised to the power into distance. Okay. So that's the definition of a function where if in this function, if I give an input of x or distance, then it will return us the acceleration value, which is minus of omega square x. That's the function definition that we have defined. Let me comment here. And later on, if you want to make it more complicated, you can just change this function and automatically your code will pick it up. Okay, so now we have defined the initial things. We have generated the vector in the time domain. And now we will initialize the displacements and velocity vector. So initialize displacements and velocity vectors. So to initialize it, we will say that there is a command called zeros, right? So np.zeros, and I want number of points, right? So that's x is equal to np.zeros, and I can control C and control V, and I can do it for velocity, and I can do it for acceleration. So here are the 0 vectors that I have initialized for displacement, velocity, and accelerations, for which we want to do the computation. And the initial conditions, initialize the initial conditions. So the initial conditions, I can say that x of 0 is equal to x naught, which is given to us, and we have already written above, and v of the first element in v vector is equal to v naught, which is given to us, and the first element of acceleration vector is equal to, can be obtained from the function acceleration that we have defined. So I can say acceleration function, and we will pass it the displacement right now because this is a very simple function. Later on, if this becomes a function of velocity and time, so you can, we have to change this function and accordingly we'll, pass different parameters here. Okay, so that is the initializing part. We are done with the initializing part. And now the main thing is to put these two equations in loop, right? So these are the two basic equations. And now we have set up the background. And now we'll have, basic loops. So we will run the basic loops for this thing, and we'll have a for loop. So for I, let's say I in range of, now we will go from num minus 1 because in Python it goes from 0 to, so we have to subtract it minus 1 here. I mean, if you don't do it, you will get an error. So yeah, so that's, I will put a colon here. That's important. That's the syntax. And then now I can write this, your equation x of I plus 1 is equal to x of I plus dt times v of I. Right? So that is the first equation. That's what I have written here and put up in a loop. Similarly, we can write the second equation for v, and I'll just do a shortcut for that. Velocity dt times acceleration, right? And then we also, for the next time step, we also can compute the acceleration at I plus 1. because that will be required for your these calculations. So acceleration is equal to from acceleration data, a function times, and we will pass x of I plus 1, which has been updated, at this stage. And that's it, I think so. Yeah, there is no end, right? Okay, just indent it. Okay, and now let's run this, and let me print x. Let's run that. Okay, so at least it's running and it's not giving some errors. And now let's do a plot. So instead of printing, let's do you can see displacement initially is 2. That was the initial condition. Then it is second steps for t is equal to second it is same. Then it goes to minus 4.8, then minus 1.48 into 10 to the power 2. Then it again increases. So it looks little weird results. The numbers are little weird because so this is displacement as a function of time, and you can see it is increasing in powers. Let's do a plotting of this. So I'll say plt dot plot x comma t, and yeah, I think it should work. Okay, so this is the result of this thing, and let me label it plt dot x label time, and plt dot y label distance displays. Okay, so you can see that it is going a bit weird. So anyway, the code is running, and let's do. So it is actually becoming unstable. The results are unstable, and the reason is because the delta t that we have chosen is quite large. Now, how small should be delta t? To exactly answer it is beyond the scope of this course, but you can play around with things, and let's say I make it as 0.1. Let's rerun this code, and now you can see that now it is little better, not again very good, but again it is growing. See, it's a harmonic solution, so ideally this ideal solution, what we should expect is a pure sine or a cosine curve, because we are solving a simple harmonic motion problem. Ideally we should get that. It is not going. Let me change. Let me make it a little bit further on it. Okay, so now you can see it is little better, although again it is growing, which is not desirable, but now you can see it is slightly better. And let's make it, put one more 0 here. Let's run it, and here we get reasonably good solution, which is a harmonic solution, which is basically your cosine curve, right? So the solution for this was cos omega t, and this is what your solution should have been. In fact, I can plot x underscore analytical is equal to x naught multiplied by cos of, and cos is not in np dot cos of omega into t. Okay, so ideally this is the analytical solution, and if I want to compare it here, I can put t comma x underscore analytical. Let's run this. There's some problem. Omega is not defined. Omega is not defined. So omega is a local variable here, so which is not available outside. So I have to define it again outside. So let's say omega is equal to 5. So that. Yeah. So now you can see that the blue one is your numerical solution, and orange one is your analytical solution. They are quite close, but later on they are there is slight difference. So if I say that plt dot legend, the first one is numerical, the second one is analytical. Let's run that. It's not writing very clearly, but there's some problem there. But the blue one was your numerical result, and ideally it should have been the orange one. And if you want to get more accurate, the idea is you make it this more small. So let's make one more 0, and let's run that. It should take, and you can see as we make your dt very small, you can see it has completely overlapped each other, right? So it is quite accurate. This is the basic, this is a very, very basic, very elementary approach. There are more advanced approach which are much more accurate than this method that I have discussed. But this was quite simple, common sense, and I hope you should be able to understand it. But with this approach, you can get very good results. And now you can see actually the number of solutions, the computations that we have done is, so if I say num of, sorry, of, so you see we are actually doing simulations for almost 50,000 data points, and it within instance, we are able to get the results. So I think that's all for this lecture. Okay, we'll close this lecture and see if there are any questions.